The dream is not always what dies first. Sometimes the excuse dies first. And because you built so much of your comfort around it, you mistake that burning for failure. You feel the old reason getting weaker. I am too tired. It is too late. I already wasted too much time. I need the perfect plan. I need one more sign. I need to feel like myself again. But the fire is not asking for a better explanation. The fire is asking what you are still protecting. You may not be losing the dream. You may be losing the excuse that let you avoid becoming the person who could carry it. And that loss will feel like ash before it feels like freedom. You know this place. You have stood in the ash room before. Not the beginning when the vision is clean. Not the finish when the proof is obvious. The middle. The room after another failed attempt. The room where the notebook is still there. The tabs are still open. The training plan still exists. The offer is still possible. The channel is still waiting. The better life is still visible, but now it comes with evidence that you did not keep your last promise. That is the part that makes the dream feel heavy. Not because the dream is wrong. Because wanting it again means facing the pattern again. You remember the last burst of discipline. You remember the clean first day. You remember the new routine, the new page, the new plan, the new identity. Then the interruption came. Work got loud. Energy dipped. Nobody reacted. The first result was small. The old self found one familiar sentence and handed it back to you like a key. This is not the right time. And you took the key. You opened the same door. You walked back into the same delay. Now you are here again, and shame is trying to sound like wisdom. Maybe I should let this go. Maybe I'm not built for it. Maybe wanting more is the problem. Maybe the dream is immature. No. Be careful. Sometimes shame will try to bury a dream, just because it is tired of being exposed by it. The dream keeps showing you the gap. The excuse keeps offering you shelter from the gap. One of them has to burn. The few do not burn the dream because the last attempt failed. They burn the excuse that made failure comfortable. In a real forge, ash does not always mean the work is over. Ash can mean the waste finally separated. The weak material burned away. The smoke showed what could not survive heat. Then the blacksmith can see the steel. That is the part you have to understand about your own life. Not every collapse is a funeral. Some collapses are exposure. They show which part of the plan was theater. They show which promise had no system under it. They show which standard only existed when your mood was obedient. They show the excuse you have been decorating with logic. I cannot start because I am tired. But you have energy for distraction. I cannot build because I need clarity. But you have clarity about the life you do not want. I cannot post because it is not perfect. But you have watched imperfect people collect proof while you polished the silence. I cannot move yet because I failed before. But failure is not a chain unless you keep kneeling to it. The excuse survives because it sounds reasonable in your own voice. That is why you have to drag it into the light. You cannot burn what you refuse to name. The obsidian blacksmith does not argue with smoke. He looks for the source. He finds the old paper. He finds the rotten beam. He finds the brittle handle you kept using because replacing it would make the work real. Then he burns the wrong thing on purpose. Not the anvil. The hammer. Not the crown. Not the future. The excuse. Because the dream is not the weight that is ruining you. The divided life is. The negotiation is. The repeated return to almost is. The private awareness that you know what to do next, but keep asking for a different doorway. That is what exhausts you. The dream has pressure, yes. But excuses have gravity. They pull you back into the smaller room and call it safety. The Forge calls it what it is. A bond that has outlived its usefulness. So make this clean. Do not try to rebuild your whole life tonight. Do not perform a dramatic identity speech. Do not write a plan so large that you can hide inside the planning. Take one excuse and put it on the table. Say it plainly. I keep saying I need more energy. I keep saying I need more clarity. I keep saying nobody cares yet. I keep saying I already fell behind. I keep saying I will restart when life calms down. Choose the one that has been blocking the most important next action. Then ask the harder question. What action would still be possible if this excuse no longer had permission? Not the biggest action. Not the perfect action. The smallest clean proof. If the excuse is energy, work for 15 focused minutes before you touch the distraction. If the excuse is clarity, write the first ugly version of the offer. If the excuse is silence, publish one honest signal before checking response. If the excuse is failure, repeat the smallest rep from the plan that failed. If the excuse is time, protect one appointment with the future before you give the day away. One excuse. One action. Today. That is the burn. Not rage. Not punishment. Not self-hate. Precision. You are separating the dream from the thing pretending to protect it. Then tomorrow you do it again. You do not need the fire to be loud. You need it to be honest. Every time the excuse returns, you answer with proof. Small proof counts. Quiet proof counts. Imperfect proof counts. The excuse only needs your agreement. Withdraw it. The dream only needs evidence. Give it some. So here is the vow. I will not confuse ash with the end. I will not bury the dream to protect the excuse. I will name the pattern that keeps taking me back to the smaller room. I will burn one reason today, and I will replace it with proof. No announcement. No performance. No bargain with the old self. Just one clean act before the day closes. Because the few are not the ones who never fail. The few are the ones who learn what must burn. The dream stays. The excuse go. Pick up the hammer.